Namo Bharat. So why it is in news? The main context is PM flags of country's first regional rapid system, that is Namo Bharat. Okay. So RRTs means it is actually the railway system. Okay. So in UPSC perspective, we have to know what do you mean by RRTS. That is the regional rapid transit system. Actually it is a new rail based system, and also it have the semi high speed and the high frequency commuter transit system. Okay, and it have the speed of 180 kilometer per hour, and also it is a part of the regional development initiative. Okay, so we can conclude that this is one of our signature for the development. Okay, that is which is designed to provide high speed trains for intercity commuting every 15 minutes, which is going up to a frequency of every 5 minutes when required. So this is about some of the basic concepts about the RRTs, that is the regional rapid transit system. So this is about the India's indigenous semi-high-speed regional train project. Okay, so actually it is a glimpse of India's promising future. Okay, and also there are certain phases are revealing there in order to bring the Namo Bharat. So first phase, it will see many areas of Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, as well as Rajasthan. So all these states are connected. Okay, so in future or in coming days, similar system will be created by the government in order to spread or to improve the connectivity in between our states and within the country. Okay, so what will happen? It will create more employment opportunities. Okay, so a total of 8 RRTs corridors are there. Okay, so in and also certain phases are there. But in the first phase, 3 RRTs or the regional rapid transit system have been prioritized. So first one is about the Delhi Ghaziabad Meerut and Delhi Gurgaon SNV Alwar, and the third one is about the Delhi Panipat. So these are the three important RRTs corridors which have been prioritized for implementation in the first phase. Okay, so previously, Nabho Bharat was known as a Rapidex, okay, but National Capital Region Transport Corporation, they have changed the name Rapidex to Namo Bharat. Okay, so what is the role of NCRTC here? Actually, the National Capital Region Transport Corporation is the implementing agency of India's first semi uh, high speed regional rail services project, that is the Namo Bharat. Okay, so we can move on some key features of the Namo Bharat. Actually, when comparing to the normal rail system, we can see that there are certain features are there in order to make comfortable or to in order to promote the security of the traveling. Okay, so here the first one is about the seating for passengers. So here 6 coaches will be available, and each coach will have 2 rows of 2 seats. Okay, and with 72 seats are the normal coach and 72 seats there. The normal coach is the largest and the premium coach has 62 seats. Okay, so about 1700 people can travel at a time, both sitting and standing, that is together 1700 people can travel at a time. So general guide, special guide, and a guide is just available for women also. So it will be very useful to the people in order to know all the things. Okay, and regarding about that, there are certain facilities are also provided for the passengers. So it's about Wi-Fi, CCTV cameras, saying it will secure. Okay, so the ladies can travel very good, as well as we can prevent lots of hazardous issue from that, and also lots of violent threats are happening nowadays in more in railway system. Okay, so we can prevent here that, and also the emergency talkbacks buttons and information screen for the passengers and places to put our luggages or the bags, and also charging ports will be available in every guest seat. Okay, so these are the facilities which is provided for the passengers. And also about the security. So we have already discussed about the CCTV cameras and also accessible. Wheelchairs and the stretchers will have their own space in the last car of the trains. And also speed is about, it will cover 82 km in an hour. So this is about the some important features of Namo Bharat. So in this figure we can see that RRTS phase 1 and RRTS phase 2 are here. Okay, so this is RRTS phase 1 and this is RRTS phase 2. So it simply means here. That is, we can see that for the first one is about Delhi to Meerut, Delhi to Panipat, as well as Delhi to SNB. Okay, so these three routes are we have already discussed, that is which is prioritized in the phase first of Namo Bharat. Okay, this is relevant in UPSC perspective in mains also. So here we can use this diagram if in case of mains exam. Okay, so this is about Namo Bharat. So next one is about eradication of manual scavenging. So we know that nowadays people are there who is cleaning all the wastes, okay, like toilets and even in the manholes in the roads. So all these things are cleaned by the poor sections in our society. So they are called as the manual scavengers. So here the context is which is about the eradication of manual scavenging. So Supreme Court have told that center and the state how to focus on the eradication of the manual scavenging. So here Supreme Court claims that it is to achieve our fraternity, equality as well as our dignity. Okay, so these three are the important criteria here. So this topic is relevant in our ethics portion as well as in our society portion. Okay, so it is among the citizens, means it remains as a illusion of a sizable section of society, means they are forced to enter the sewers for a living, and they are just sometimes the people or the manual scavengers are died inside them because they were trapped in them, because sometimes it is very difficult to locate a worker. So in order to fill the vacancies, the people usually appointment what type of labors, they just appointment inexperienced persons. So this will eventually trigger the situations really bad. Okay, so this is about the context here. So here the bench is headed by Justice S.R. Bhatt. He held that union and the state governments have the duty in order to pledge to completely eradicate the manual scavenging. Okay, through the implementation of the Prohibition of Employment as Manual Scavengers and the Rehabilitation Act 2013. So already there is laws are there, so we have to implement that properly in order to achieve the aim. Okay, so here Justice Bhatt told that each of us out this large segment of the population, so who have remained unseen, unheard and muted in bondage, systemically trapped in inhuman conditions. So before earlier, it have like the compensation payable for the sewer death were 10 lakh, but the Supreme Court had enhanced that compensation rate to 30 lakh. Okay, so here now Supreme Court telling that it is the duty of our, means the duty of citizens, in order to realize the true fraternity. Okay, so we have to give importance and value to the dignity as well as the fraternity. Fraternity means the brotherhood. So if we want to achieve that, we need to eradicate the manual scavenging process. And also it is mainly based upon the 2020 petition. Here, court had taken judicial notice to the petition which is filed in 2020 by Balram Singh. Okay, so it which highlighted that people were still dying in sewers. Okay, because already these practices were banned with the introduction of this law, that is the Employment of Manual Scavengers and Construction of Dry Latrines Prohibition Act in 1993. So it simply means that manual scavenging have been officially banned since 1993, but still it is happening in India. So lots of people are dying here. So we have to stop it. So that is the main base of this 2020 petition. And also there is another act is there, that is in 2013, that is the prohibition of employment as manual scavengers and their rehabilitation. Okay, so this is about this petition. Here top court, that is Supreme Court, had reinforced the prohibition and directed the rehabilitation of people traditionally and otherwise engaged in the practice in its judgment. So we need to know what do you mean by manual scavenging. We already discussed that it is the practice of cleaning. Okay, so here particularly the important point is cleaning of human excreta. Okay, it is the waste materials of human and other waste materials from the dry latrines, open drains and sewers. So this is about manual scavenging. So there are some legal provisions are there, like Employment of Manual Scavengers and Construction of Dry Latrines Prohibition Act 1993, as well as in 2013 Act, that is the Prohibition of Employment as Manual Scavengers and their Rehabilitation Act. Other than these legal provision, there is some constitutional safeguards are already there. So we can look at that is Article 14. We already know what it means. That is the equality before the law and equal protection of the law. But here some people, some sections of in our society are deprived because of this job. They are just facing like not an equal protection like other people. They are just suffering lots of things because of this job. As well as Article 17, it is about the abolition of untouchability and prohibition of its practice in any form. Here people usually treating them not good, like they are like untouchables or like polluting people. So manual scavengers now too they are facing the abolition. So it's against our fundamental rights, that is Article 70. Already there is constitutional provisions are available since too it is the violation of constitution because of the practice of manual scavenging. And the third one is about Article 21, that is the protection of life as well as the personal liberty. Because of the unharassed and not healthy environment, lots of people are dying inside the manhole because of the trapping there, as well as poor mechanisms or the treatment facilities are there. Lots of issues are happening in their life as well as their personal liberty. And about Article 23, that is the prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor. So this is the constitutional safeguards and legal provisions. Constitutional safeguards for the manual scavengers. Then move on to legal provisions. We already discussed about 2013 Act, that is prohibition of unemployment as the manual scavengers and their rehabilitation act. Why we are keeping this legal provision? It is to aim to prohibit and eliminate manual scavenging in India. So this is the main issue. Still manual scavenging is happening in India and lots of deaths are always taking there. So in order to prevent that, 2020 means the 2020 legal issue have been risen now. So it prohibits the employment or engagement of anyone as a manual scavenger and also prohibits anyone from constructing or maintaining insanitary latrines. So there are certain reasons are there which leads to the continuing prevalence of this manual scavenging in India. We already know. First one is about the inefficient sewage management system, because some of our municipalities do not have the latest techniques or the machines for cleaning. So it will force the need of sewage workers. But what will happen where unskilled laborers are used, because we can hire them very cheaper rate, and also contractors will illegally brought employees from for their as the basis of daily wages. So all these things will eventually affect the situation to a bad state. And next one is about the caste based social hierarchy. We already know in our past society there was the concept like unclean or the polluting societies were there. That concept was there, and it is the continuation of that concept now to some people or some society. The sections from the society are facing this issue, that is the caste based social hierarchy. Okay, and the third one is about the lack of alternative livelihood opportunities. So, manual scavenging often persists due to limited alternative employment opportunities because available to the affected communities. So, once the people were in manual scavenging work, they will always be bound to do that work because there was a concept like untouchable and also polluting nature was there. So, it will leads to what? Loss of their alternative livelihood opportunities. So these are the main reasons for the continued prevalence of manual scavenging in India. Lowering of government debt. So the context is now our government is looking forward or focusing on in order to reduce its overall debt levels. Okay, why? Because now government is conscious about that it will affect the future generations. So in order to prevent that burden for the future generations, now the concept or the concerns are towards the lowering of the government debt. So here we need to ensure that the global food as well as global fertilizer and the fuel supplies did not become an instrument of war and disruptions. But also there are some impacts are because of the terrorism. Okay, so the impacts of terrorism had now become a factor that investors need to weigh while making the decision. So if we want to lower our debt, we need to do the investments. Okay, so we need the investors. So the thing happening is the terrorism is lack of issue which is hindering the investors to do some investments in the particular countries. So other than economic openness as well as the economic policies, and now they are focusing on the terrorism aspects too. So here the conscious is conscious, they are we are now conscious. Okay, that is the conscious decisions. Here every matter is related to the macroeconomic stability, okay, and the responsibility with which we deal with our fiscal management. So this is just about the concept that in order to prevent the burden which is going to the future generations, we have to lower our government debt. This is about Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman who have said all these things about. So we have to know what do you mean by fiscal deficit. Here for the easiness, I have took the figure that is a physical deficit formula. If we have this concept, it will be very useful for us. Okay, that is it is total expenditure minus a total income. So here we can see that there is no borrowings. Okay, so we need to exclude the borrowings in order to calculate the physical deficit. It means that it is the difference between government's total expenditure and its total revenue, that is its total income. Actually borrowing is also an revenue, am I right? But here we need to exclude that because we have to earn. Okay, so it is that difference between a government's total expenditure and its total revenue during a fiscal year, that is during a specific period. So this is mean the fiscal deficit. Actually it plays a crucial role in our country's fiscal policy. Okay, and also it represents the amount of money the government needs to borrow to meet its expenditure commitments when its total expenses exceeds its total revenue. If someone is having, okay, we can take an example like one or a person is getting 500, has his what monthly income only 500 rupee, but its income is about 1500, so he have to borrow 1000 from other people. It will lead to what? Debt. Okay, so in order to calculate our all the expenses, we need to figure out about the physical deficit also. So this is the crucial component of our country's fiscal policy. So what do you mean by public debt? Actually public debt It represents the total amount of money that a country's central government owes to various creditors. Okay, that may be its individuals or some financial institutions or maybe the foreign governments. It is also at a specific point in time. So, it is the cumulative result, that is the public debt is the cumulative result of past fiscal deficit and its surpluses. Okay, here the public debt include all outstanding government's borrowings, which include both short-term and long-term debt. So, what do you mean by fiscal repression? So, fiscal repression means it is an economic term which is used to describe the government policies and regulations. Means it can manipulate the interest rates, capital flows, and other financial instruments to channel the funds towards the government's debt obligations and also to channel other strategic priorities. Okay, so this is about the financial repressions. So there are certain impacts are there because of the financial repression. So first one is about high debt and interest payment. We know that financial repression is there. What will happen? It will lead to the higher government debt levels. So we need to borrow. Okay, means it facilitates the borrow at the lower interest rate. If low interest rate is there, then we will facilitate the borrowing. So what will happen? We need to do the interest payments. So this is the scenario. So here on average interest payments constitute over 5% of GDP and 25% of the revenue receipts in India. And next one is about the state specific concern. So here also some of our states like Punjab, Kerala, Rajasthan and West Bengal are particularly affected by high debt to GDP ratios. Okay, so next one is about the constraints on fiscal policies. If debt is elevated or the debt is in increased level, it will lead to the means because of the financial repression. What will happen? It can limit the government's ability to implement counter-cyclical fiscal policies. When they are implementing these counter-cyclical fiscal policies at the time of economic downturns. So, distorted financial market. What will happen? Government interventions like SLR requirement can create imbalances in the allocation of funds and it will affect all the credit for the productive sectors like manufacturing. If there is no manufacturing, it will affect our capital investments. Okay. And the second last one is about the impact on sovereign rating and external borrowing. Here, high deficit and debt levels can lead to lower sovereign rates by rating agencies. So, it will increase the cost of external commercial borrowing. Okay, so then what will happen? More expensive for the government to raise funds from the international markets. And the last one is about the burden on future generations. So it will lead to the future generations. The future citizens have to repay all the debts and interests acquired during the period of financial repressions. So these are the important impacts of the financial repressions. So this is the end of today's discussion. I hope you all got it. Thank you.